Start. MTC. Q-14 number. 1. Dear Ms. Griffin. Griffin. My paycheck for the 2-week period ending October 16 was $75 short. 1016275. For this period I should have been paid $875. 875. Instead, my check was for only $800. 800. I believe I know why there may have been a discrepancy. The $75 additional pay for these 2 weeks was the result of my having put in 5 hours of overtime on October 8 and October 12, 2 1/2 hours each day at $15 per hour. 275108101215230. This overtime was not reflected on my current pay statement. I have double-checked with my supervisor, Gloria Orello, who assured me that she recorded my overtime on the timesheets she sent to your office on October 17. Gloria Orello 1017. Thank you in advance for correcting your records and for crediting me with the additional $75 for my overtime. 75. Sincerely, Robbie Burke, Data Entry Clerk. Robbie Burke. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Q-14 number. 2. The pedagogical tradition of requiring students to raise their hands in class has the obvious instrumental purposes of establishing classroom order, testing student comprehension of content by maintaining a disciplined climate conducive to answering questions, and facilitating group discussion. Morally, however, it regulates turn-taking, which inevitably involves issues of fairness, respect for others, patience, and self-control. How a teacher navigates in such routine situations is ethically significant. Thoughtlessly done, it may project the image of a teacher who discriminates, favors, or just does not care about students. Thoughtfully carried out, turn-taking may enable the teacher to ensure fair participation as well as protect both the less vocal students who may need some gentle and kindly encouragement and the more vocal ones who may become targeted for abuse by other students who grow to resent them. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Q-14 number. 3. How will we know when we have achieved sustainable tourism? The definition of sustainability as development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs compels us to face tomorrow's challenge today. The diversity and complexity of tourism in developed and developing countries means that there is no perfect or easy formula for achieving sustainable tourism. The increase in tourism globally has also fostered sharing experiences of successes and failures. The work of governments, NGOs, communities in the planning and implementation of tourism has been supported by ongoing research and analysis. Such collaborations, as well as continuing innovation and monitoring, are integral to the goal of achieving sustainable tourism. This is a challenging goal and one that only a dynamic and ever-changing industry, such as global tourism, can face and conquer. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Q-14 number. 4. By creating artworks, artists offer views of the world and their unique responses to the world. The community, audience/group, responds to the products of an artist's efforts by attempting to comprehend the uniqueness of the artist. The artist creates, the community responds, the artist makes again, the community attends, and so on. In a broad sense, art making may be considered to always be a group enterprise. Sean McNiff, an author and artist, said, "Life is always created from interplay among different participants who make contact, influence one another, exchange their essential natures, merge, and generate new forms." Sean McNiff. Creating art is a self-transcendent process. The vast majority of artists are very interested in the reactions their work inspires in others. This interest is motivated by the desire for human contact. A central healing quality of art therapy is the capacity to promote the development of relationships. Although some artists state that they must be left alone to do their work, still most intend that someday others will acknowledge their creative work. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Q-14 number 5. Interactions between people and environmental features have spatial dimensions that are often overlooked. Our impact on resource supplies, such as forests, fish stocks, and the various minerals and metals used to make the things that we consume, happens in particular places. Often the environmental impacts of our consumption and waste generation are distanced from us, and we do not experience them directly. The demand for diamonds as a symbol of love in North America, Europe, and Japan is linked to negative and violent impacts in diamond-producing, former European colonies of West Africa. Similarly, although we may fault China for its unabated greenhouse gas emissions, the industrial productivity there, enabled in part by low environmental standards, provides inexpensive goods to consumers around the world. Consumption in richer parts of the world is often both spatially and cognitively distant from its negative impacts, whether it is the mining of materials for batteries in hybrid cars or the dumping of toxic electronic waste in poor countries desperate for a source of income. If we can't see it, we don't think about it. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Q-14 number 6. Part of the challenge children face is in training their eyes to move from left to right across lines of print. The eye is controlled by small muscle movements, and for children small muscle movements are a challenge in and of themselves. When the eyes move across a line of print, they make a series of jumps, stopping briefly to focus. An experienced adult reader typically sees 2 letters to the left side of the point of focus and 6 to 8 letters to the right. The inexperienced child reader, however, sees 1 letter to the left and 1 letter to the right of their point of focus. This physical reality explains why children learning to read find it easier to decode words made up of fewer than 5 letters. As their eye muscles begin to develop, they are gradually able to take in more on the right side of the point of focus and they can handle longer, unfamiliar words. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Q-14 number 7. Sometimes the awareness that one is distrusted can provide the necessary impetus for introspection. An employee who realizes she isn't being trusted by her coworkers with shared responsibilities at work might, upon reflection, identify areas where she has consistently let others down or failed to follow through on previous commitments. Others' distrust of her might then motivate her to perform her share of the duties in a way that makes her more worthy of their trust. But distrust of one who is sincere in her efforts to be a trustworthy and dependable person can be disorienting and might cause her to doubt her own perceptions and to distrust herself. Consider, for instance, a teenager whose parents are suspicious and distrustful when she goes out at night. Even if she has been forthright about her plans and is not breaking any agreed-upon rules, her identity as a respectable moral subject is undermined by a pervasive parental attitude that expects deceit and betrayal. Others' distrust of a person can lead to a constructive examination of oneself, but others' distrust of a person can be confusing if it is thought to be unfair. MTC. Good job.